It's top of the top. You know what time it is. We talking NBA talk. We talking the trade deadline. No, I'm handing this off to that boy Peyton because you know how he gets when it comes down to this GM talk. That man GM Peyton over
You know
there.
I be playing my
But you
GM
know,
in 2K. Come on.
you know. But so trade deadline is on like 9 days. Peyton's gonna be talking about his top 5 players that might be in the trading block, as well as some potential teams and or deals that could be running for the players. Let me know, bro. Let me know.
All
Let
right.
me know what you got to
So
say.
I wouldn't say these are in order of talent. I mean, technically you could say they're in order of talent, best players, but I'm going based off of like highest price to ask. Like who's going to be the
Mm-hmm.
biggest splash of the trade deadline. So at number 5, I got Dennis Schroeder of the Boston Celtics. I
Ooh.
think he's on the block. Some potential teams I can see him going to are the Clippers. I can see the Mavs looking to add some help for Luke. I know Jalen Brunson's been having a good year, but Mavs are
Mm-hmm.
probably the most likely to me. And then Kings and Magic are two little sleeper teams that, might be looking to move, could get a young player. But Mavericks are the team I'm going to look for in this deal. So this is one of the more simple deals I have, but I worked this out in a way that the Celtics will be getting Dorian Finney-Smith and Tim Hardaway, and the Mavericks will be getting Dennis Schroeder and Al Horford. I'm not putting any picks in this, but the money evens out. I feel like it's a good addition for each team. Tim Hardaway hasn't been having the best year this year, but Finney-Smith gives you a little wing defender, length. Hardaway Jr. spot up shooter. And then you got Schroeder on the Mavericks, another guy like Brunson, like Luka, who can create his own shot. I know he's not as efficient, but now you got Al Horford as well, who could kind of be the centerpiece of the offense. You could run through him in the post, let Luka, not always have the ball, get more people involved. I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
good trade that helps out both teams, helps the Mavericks poise themselves for a playoff run, and helps the Celtics move up higher so they can avoid that away game in the play and maybe even avoid the play-in tournament in total.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. That's actually really. I was thinking because like I honestly, it's just like when Shooter went to the Celtics, I was kind of like I don't really know. I don't like how that. I like him. I think his best basketball when he was in OKC, because he was the main guy
Right,
at his position.
right.
But then Shy started to prosper, so it was like, hey man, listen, your minutes getting taken away
Right.
right now. And as for Al Horford, when he resigned with the Celtics, I wasn't really excited with that, signing either, because honestly, he wasn't really productive prior to that, when he was in the Celtics. So I was like, kind of like, there was just like all right, you know what, we need a big, why not,
I
sign him.
feel
He's
like they
been here
wanted him to
before.
play that Draymond role, and it's not the
Hmm.
same.
Yeah, and it's like ain't nobody playing Draymond role like Draymond. But yeah, it just Al Horford just wasn't. I don't think he's a fit for the Celtics. He wasn't a fit then, and I don't think he's a fit now. He's a
Right.
great, he's a good role player. I don't think he's a starting. He's like could be the best player in his team. That's why, like you said, that trade to the Mavericks would be a good,
Yeah.
a good trade because, like you said, he can open up the floor for Luca and do stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't see Schroeder starting for Dallas. I think back on that
Mm-mm.
six-man role that he was in Atlanta and in OKC is the best role for him. Just let him come in and get buckets. Brunson can
Yeah.
start. Let Brunson stay in the starting lineup. Bring in Schroeder off the bench. Just go get buckets. If you need some offense when Luka's out or Brunson's out, that's the guy you give it to. And I think for the Celtics, bringing in Smith is probably big. Dorian Finney-Smith is probably a better piece in this trade than Tim Hardaway Jr. because Dorian is a long, lanky defender. He could guard better on the perimeter than Horford or Grant Williams, who are your alternate options at the 4 position. Obviously, I'm trading Horford away, but he can guard much better on the perimeter than your other options. Grant
Mm-hmm.
Williams is a knockdown shooter now from the corner, especially. Dorian can
Mm-hmm.
knock it down too. He's a spot up shooter and he plays great defense, just a classic 3 and D guy, and that's what the Celtics need because other than Smart, I don't really know who's playing defense on the Celtics. I'm gonna move up number 4, Goran Dragic. He hasn't played in a while, but
Ooh, I
a
haven't heard that
lot of
name in a good
rumors, a
second.
lot of rumors around Dragic. So teams I got: Lakers, Knicks, Mavericks, and then the team I'm gonna get this deal done for is Denver. So Denver's gonna be getting Dragic in a 2024 first round pick. That's protected in the top 5, just in case Toronto happens to have some struggles at the time. They want to keep that pick, so we're gonna protect it in the top 5. And the Raptors are gonna get Monty Morris as well as J. Michael Green. Here's what I would say about this. You might look at this trade on paper and be like, man, I think Denver should be giving up Will Barton instead of Morris. I agree. I originally looked at trading Barton, but for one, Barton's been playing great for Denver, and I don't think they're going to want to get rid of him. For two, Dragic isn't even playing. So anybody is better than nothing because they don't have him playing. They're just waiting to trade him. So you're getting Morris or you're getting nothing. I would rather have Morris than have nothing. That seems pretty simple to me, honestly. But Dragic to the Nuggets, he could be the primary ball handler while Murray's out.
I love that, honestly.
Let him get the ball into Jokic. Let Jokic facilitate from the post. You got a shooter now and Bryn Forbes in the starting lineup. I don't know what MPJ's health is looking like right now, but you got Bryn Forbes out there. I don't know if he's starting or not, but you can have him out shooting threes. You got Barton that can knock down some shots. Obviously, the ball is going to be run through the Joker most of the time, but Dragic can be that primary ball handler, bringing the ball up the floor, leading fast breaks, because Jokic, we know, isn't fast. He's crafty enough that he can run that fast break, but Dragic running the floor is going to be much, much quicker than Jokic running the floor, and that'll create more scoring opportunities for Jokic, which, granted, he finds his own scoring, but to have another primary ball handler to give him the ball, find him in the shooting pocket, I think is ideal for Denver. And then that gives you the opportunity of letting Jamal Murray play the 2-guard when he comes back. Just pure buckets. Put him in the Kyrie role.
No, that's actually a really smooth lineup. That's a smooth lineup 100%. Right now. I like that. I'm telling you, that's GMP.
Number 3, moving on to De'Aaron Fox. I've heard a lot of rumblings about every Kings player, but I just settled on Fox for the sake of the segment because you could choose any of them, really. You could choose Barnes, you could choose Hield, Halliburton, Bagley, Fox, doesn't matter. But teams I got, Celtics, Pacers, Wizards, and we chose the Wizards for this deal. No picks again in this one, but to the Kings are going to be receiving Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, and Rui Hachimura, and the Wizards are going to be getting De'Aaron Fox.
You giving up Rui Hachimura.
Big old package.
See, that's a big boy pack. Is De'Aaron Fox really worth it?
I think he's worth it for this reason, Jay. I'm going to give you a comparison of De'Aaron Fox, and then you tell me why I gave you that comparison. I think De'Aaron Fox plays a lot like prime John Wall.
You're not wrong. He's averaging great numbers right now. But that's just... Ooh, maybe they give him a pick instead of Rui Hachimura, so it's like... but then again, I think he is that type of player that could, it would help Bradley Beal a lot. But like Rui Hachimura, isn't that like one of their key like big men?
I thought so, but
actually?
Man, he's been a ghost for a while. Like he's been in and out of the rotation. They got so many young players, and I think to bring in Fox, he's the key piece because Dinwiddie's value has significantly dropped this year. He hasn't been playing at the level he should be playing. He hasn't been playing at the level the Wizards have expected him to be playing. So I feel like he's just like here, take him. Because you got Halliburton and you got Mitchell in Sacramento. They're going to be playing most of the minutes. Dinwiddie can come in and score for you if you need him to. And who knows what the Kings will be doing in terms of other trades. But Dinwiddie is kind of like here's a dump. Right? We're going to dump him just for the sake of evening out the money, evening out the numbers on the team, right? Kuzma is another guy that he could raise the floor, just like Dinwiddie, but he can't raise the ceiling of the team. Hachimura could be a much better player than Kuzma, given the right opportunity. And he hasn't gotten that now. You put him in Sacramento, let him play, let him ball, see what he can do. I think De'Aaron Fox to the Wizards, that doesn't give them title chances. You look at that roster, it's not bad, but Fox and Beal in your backcourt, it doesn't take you farther than John Wall and Bradley Beal. Let me put it that way. You got a decent starting lineup. You got guys like Kisper, Avdia, a bunch of young guys, right? You got Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench, who is in trade rumors as well, but he's a beast. I love Montrezl Harrell. I believe Gafford and or Bryant is in the starting lineup. I'm not sure which one, when both are healthy, would be chosen, but plenty of young guys. I think bringing in Fox, who's like 24 years old, will help them a lot right now. It'll help them move into the play-in game higher up in the standings. But I think for the future, with all these young guys, it'll help him too. My only concern is that it's just going to end up like Sacramento, where they can't draft properly. And they end up putting Fox in a terrible situation because he could be a good number 1 or 2 option for a solid playoff team. And that's what I think this trade helps. It'll put
that man needs some help.
put them up into the 6th seed, 7th seed. Maybe help Beal get his rhythm back because he hasn't been having a good year this year. And who knows? Maybe they can make a splash in the East because right now the East is just, I mean, for lack of a better word, it's a clusterfuck. I think 1 through 6 is all within 2 games of each other in the standings. So Washington, they start making some noise. I mean, they don't have the best record right now, but they bring in Fox. You got plenty of time. The Hawks are on a 7-game win streak, so they're continuously moving up. You never know what could happen in the East, and I think Fox is an upgrade from all 3 of these players. Moving all 3 of those players for Fox, I think is worth it. I'm gonna move on to number 2. I got Demontis Sabonis as my number 2. Again, this is very much like the Kings, where every single player on this team is on the block. I just happen to choose Sabonis. Teams I could see him going to are the Mavericks, Wizards, Kings, and I'm going to be using the 76ers for this because the Ben Simmons trade has to happen at some point. So this is it. This is the Ben Simmons trade. And I simplified this as much as possible. And this is the one trade that is very out there, but if you really think about it, it's not out there at all. The only reason it's actually out there is because Daryl Morey wouldn't do a trade like this because he needs more pieces. I think this is perfect for Philly, and I'm going to tell you what it is. The Pacers are going to be receiving Ben Simmons and Furkan Korkmaz. I'm only sending him there to even out the money, to be honest with you. 76ers are going to be receiving Caris LeVert and Demontis Sabonis.
That's a fire trade.
I don't know what Morey wants. Like, I couldn't think of a better deal than this. I really couldn't.
He's gotten like 2-star players out of this before. That wasn't one of them. James Harden. Well, I don't think that was actually a committed trade.
The rumor was Ben Simmons for James Harden when Houston was originally trading Harden, but not anymore.
Oh, that was a while ago. Damn.
But, I mean, there's plenty of offers on the table for Simmons, and this one makes the most sense to me. You got a twin tower front court of Sabonis and Embiid. Embiid is already balling, and Sabonis is not going to condense the floor as much as Simmons. I know he's not a knockdown three-point shooter, but he's not a poor three-point shooter. If he's out in the corner, you're going to want to guard him. You know what I'm saying?
But
they don't have a shooter. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I'm saying they don't have a shooter where they can run some sort of Warriors offense because the Warriors can get away with Draymond and Looney on the floor. They don't have a shooter that good, but Seth Curry can stretch the floor, Maxey can stretch the floor, Toby can stretch the floor, and Sabonis isn't a poor three-point shooter, so it's stretched enough that Embiid can still do his work, and if the double comes, they'll make him pay.
Exactly. Yeah, what I was going to say is, like, even though Sabonis isn't the most threat at the three-pointer, he still can knock down a decent mid-range shot, which Ben Simmons couldn't, he still couldn't do, even from the three-pointer or mid-range. So, like, if you would have to worry about Sabonis in that mid-range area, bro, that's 1-2 right there. Give me hey, give me that. Joel Embiid's already what he's doing, putting up Shaq numbers right now. Man, over here having an MVP season again.
He is. And this is my thing. He is wasting his time in Philly if they don't pull off a trade. Sabonis, while he's not a star, Sabonis and LeVert as a combination, you bring LeVert in off the bench as a sixth man, buckets. Sabonis is leading Indiana in points, rebounds, and assists. Like I said, he's not the best three-point shooter, but he's making 32%. All right, that's fine with me. That is totally fine with me, especially when you're going to give me 12 rebounds and 5 assists as the 4. I don't see why, out of all the possible trade deals for Ben Simmons, this isn't one that they're attacking right now. I'm going to go ahead and move into the final trade. And I don't think he's the best player here out of the list. I think I would take a couple others over him. But I've heard the most about him. I think he would make a big splash, especially in the trade that I've laid out. Number 1 is Jeremy Grant. The teams I have him potentially going to are the Hawks, Knicks, 76ers, and the one I went through with is Utah. Again, he's another player that could be involved in a Simmons trade. Who knows what Morey wants? The reason I went with Indiana is because LeVert plus Sabonis. I don't think Detroit has a second option that they'd be willing to trade that would make as big of a splash as LeVert. So this trade is even more important because of what was just announced today. I'm trading him to the Utah Jazz specifically because Joe Ingles has tore his ACL. He is a huge contributor to that team. I have laid out this trade right here. It is Bojan Bogdanovic, Eric Paschall, Jared Butler, and a 2025 first-round pick to Detroit for Josh Jackson and Jeremy Grant. Josh Jackson is another piece that could play the wing, but he doesn't need to play. He doesn't have to play. It's
Good
not
defender.
really for money, but yeah, he can fill in if he needs to, right? Especially with the injury. You're losing Bogdanovic. Grant is going to fill in. Bogdanovic probably wouldn't stay in Detroit. They'd probably send him out, flip him for young assets or picks. Jeremy Grant on this team would be huge. Royce O'Neal would be starting at the 3 or the 4, and Grant would start at the other. But he's a guy that can create his own offense because they don't really have another guy like that. You like Connolly running a pick and roll with Gobert, but he's not a scorer. He's more of a facilitator, right? I want Jeremy Grant for the sake that you can give him the ball, and it doesn't have to fall on Donovan Mitchell all the time. I know Clarkson can do that off the bench, but this is a starting unit, right? Grant is going to be starting for sure. But I think Utah needs to stay afloat right now because they're not healthy. Ingles is out for the year. They need something because even if Grant isn't having that big of an impact, it's a change, right? It's new life because they are not looking good right now, Utah. They're falling to 4th in the West, 30-21, and they need a spark of energy. They've lost 5 in a row, and they're 2-8 in their last 10. I'm not saying Jeremy Grant's a superstar. I'm not saying that this is a guy you want to keep on your team for years to come. But every year in the playoffs, it's the same story with the Jazz. And they're bringing the same look every time. Conley, Mitchell, Jingles, Bogdanovic, Gobert. You need something new.
Great season come playoff time. They just can't get it done.
Right.
And maybe this could be a change for them. Maybe like they need that athletic player that can, do something different for them. I like Jeremy Grant as a player. He has been flourishing and developing a lot. I haven't seen him much this year. I haven't really watched a lot of basketball this year. I've watched a lot of highlights, a chance to. But overall, man, that would be a pretty good pickup for them. I like the Jazz, but it's just like, bro, it's just pathetic for me to watch you over and over again to succeed and have a great team and then not be able to get it done.
And then continuously do it over and over.
Over again.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That was probably Einstein that said that. I have no idea. It sounded good in my head. It sounded good when I said it too. I just don't know who said it. But bro, you need to make a change. It's not going to work. You're not beating Phoenix. You're not beating Golden State. And you're probably not beating Memphis either. Jeremy Grant, bring him in now. If you guys agree, disagree, let us know. Fire. Let me know. Argue with my trades if you think they're shit. Just tell me. I won't take it to heart. Just tell me. We can talk about it in the comment section. That's fine. I'm with it. That's fine. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for watching.
Much love.
If you like this video, like the video.
Shout out to Peyton.
Subscribe to the channel. Check out the Talk of the Town playlist. Link in the description.
I saw that. I peeped that.
Right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see y'all next week.